Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. I have no idea why my voice was so high at the beginning of that, but you know what? It's okay. I'm a mezzo. It's fine. How are you guys doing today? Happy whatever day it is. I am recording this on a Friday because if you listened to my podcast before in the last few weeks, by the time you hear this, you'll know that I'm batch recording ahead of time because I'm going to be in New York right about now when you're listening to this. I would be in New York for my master's program, my in-person classes. So I'm batch recording these ahead of time to make sure that you get amazing content that will inspire you and help you to continue to grow as a singer and a performer while I am growing as a singer and a performer and a music educator in my program. So hi, today we're talking about the three M's, my three M's of confidence singing on stage, confident stage presence, and performing skills. So, what does that mean? Basically, I have narrowed down in my mind what to focus on when it comes to performing on stage with confidence. What are the things that make stellar performances? I love performances. I love watching performances. I love performing on stage myself and then watching back and analyzing, like lovingly analyzing. I call it kind critiquing, right? And you kindly notice the good things and then you notice, okay, what are some things I want to work on, right? So I love doing that when it comes to the performance of a song or a performance of a show, right? Whatever it is, I love performances. That's when you get to really show what you've been working on and connect with people in that beautiful way that we all love and that we all want to do when it comes to singing. And I have narrowed it down to three M's of confident performing that I'd love to share with you guys, and I would love for you guys to take and start to incorporate into your practice time and into your performances and see how they help you when it comes to stage presence and really creating a captivating performance. Okay. So again, I love performances. I grew up dancing and then singing and then acting, and being on stage was just like the best, and it still is. So I love being on stage. Can't keep me away from a stage for too long. I will find my way back. So let's get into what these three M's are. Before I do, reminder, you guys, even though right now when you're listening to this, I'm in New York doing my in-person classes at Columbia for my master's in music and music education. I'm also still coaching. So I still have online virtual spots. If you would like to grab a voice lesson and work on any of these three M's of performance and performing skills, and you really want to work on your stage presence, you really want to work on not being afraid and not knowing what to do on stage when you are singing in a show, or even when you're doing an audition, that's also a performance of its own kind. And you would want to incorporate any of these things that I'm going to talk about in a second, you want to incorporate them into your performances. And so if you need to work on that, you need to work on prepping an audition, prepping a performance, and building confidence in your stage presence. I work on that in voice lessons as well. So you can go grab a lesson with me. I would love to help you with this. And I would love to support you and give you the steps that you need to build confidence as a singer and a performer in your voice lesson. Okay. So go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio. And at the top, you can just see where you can book your lesson. Again, that's Creatively by Estelle, two L's and an E at the end, creativelybyestelle.com/studio. Okay. I have voice lesson slots available, should still be available by the time you're listening to this. So go there and check it out and see if you can find a spot on the calendar. And let's get singing. Let's get building confidence as performers. Okay. All right. So let's get into these three M's of confident stage presence and performance. Number one is M for movement. Movement. Okay. You can observe any of these three M's in probably any of your favorite performances that you've ever seen. Okay. And then you can start to incorporate it into your own. And the first one is key, movement. And this does not mean like necessarily like perfectly choreographed, but there is some sort of intentional use of the space of the stage or some sort of intentional use of the body to tell the story. So maybe the person is literally standing still, like not really moving. Maybe they have a stationary mic, right? A mic on a mic stand, and they're not like moving around the stage, But what you'll notice is that they're still using hand movements to express different parts of the song, to add emphasis. Even if they're not really using that many hand movements, you'll still notice a head nod or the movement of the head or the movement of the shoulders, right? You'll see it. You'll know the comfortability that the performer has in their body, where they're just grounded in their body, right? And it could be subtle movements. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but there is a comfortability in the body that I would still just put under this movement category that really can make a beautiful performance. And so you can see like completely different performances where there's one where it's really impactful. The person is really moving around a lot, telling the story with their body. Maybe they have choreography, maybe they have backup dancers, right? Maybe there's an ensemble. And then you could also see a performance where it's just one person on the stage, a stationary mic on a stand, and they seem to not really be moving very much, but there is still movement in the way that they're moving their hands, in the way that they lift their eyebrow, in the way that they turn their neck, right? There's just something in which they look grounded in their bodies. And that's what you want in your performance when it comes to stage presence. You want to be able to practice. How are you moving? Are you using the space? Depending on what the space is, depending on what performance you're doing, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Kind of decide that ahead of time, right? And then what hand movements are you doing? Are you doing a lot of hand motions, or maybe you want it to be more subtle and you just want a few limited ones, depending on the style of music, the song that you're doing, right? Do you want there to actually be choreography that you've already planned ahead of time, right? You can do this too. Like you can decide on this word, I'm going to do this flick of my hand. On this word, I'm going to kind of like stomp on the ground a little bit. I'm going to do a step forward because I'm really getting into the song, and I'm going to ball my hands into fists, and then I'm going to spread them out to the side, right? You can come up with your own choreography, even if it's just little things here and there to add in that movement into your performance. So that's number one, is movement. That is key. Figure out how to either get grounded in your body and have like a still body where you're just having very simple, subtle movements, or maybe you want a bigger performance and you need bigger movements, choreograph them ahead of time, right? So think about movement. The second one that I want you to think about is meaningful expression. I kind of talked about this a little bit when I said the raising of the eyebrow, but that's like facial expressions, meaningful expressions. So not just any expressions, but meaningful. When you are singing a song, oh, maybe I should have thought of a song for an example. Say that you're singing a song. What's one that everyone would know? Okay, I'm not going to do one everyone would know, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you know this one, but I'll do one that is kind of popular in the musical theater. Well, let's do Disney, because Disney is pretty popular and also musical theater-y. So let's do Disney. Let's do a really popular one. Let's do Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. So let's see. When she sings, up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun. Wandering Free. Sorry, I blanked on the lyrics, even though I've worked on this song with so many students before. Wandering Free, or not so many, but a couple. Wandering Free, okay? Wish I could be part of that world, right? That's a part of the song where she's longing to be part of the human world, right? She's longing to get out of the sea, get away from her father's rules. And so you can think about, how do you look when you're longing? Do you like raise your eyebrows a little bit, right? Wish I could be part of that world, right? And your expression is going to change when you're singing that section about longing versus when she's singing, what's the very beginning of the song where she goes, dang, I'm really blanking on this song. Okay. I found the lyrics because I'm blanking a lot right now. But at the beginning, she goes, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection is complete, right? That's when she's like saying, like, she's kind of being ironic, like, look at all the stuff that I have. I have a lot of things. And you probably think from the outside looking in that I should be content, which in theory, she kind of should, but whatever. I empathize. I still empathize with you, Ariel. Anyway, so she is like, look at all the stuff that I have, right? I should be content. That's a little bit different from that longing feeling. So your expression at the beginning of the song can look a little ironic, like you're like maybe like a little side grin or something like that. right? Versus when she starts to sing about up where they walk, up where they run, you can get this expression of longing and hope, right? That's what you want to bring into a song, changing your facial expressions and even your body language, right? Scrunched up shoulders, like kind of scrunching them up a little bit, not to cause too much tension around your neck, but like a little bit of scrunching them up as you're looking up and you're hopeful. You're imagining looking up to the world that you want to be a part of, right? As Ariel, right? That's body language and a facial expression. So those meaningful expressions are things that you want to bring into any performance that you are doing in order to really bring that confidence, bring that captivation, captivating the audience with your performance. Okay. And then last but not least, the third M is moments of connection. These are any sort of moment where you are connecting with your audience, the people in the room. Okay. So it can be a dramatic pause. It can be looking at different sections of the audience. Maybe you look to your right and then you turn to your left and you're looking intentionally at people. You don't have to look people in the eye necessarily, because that can be a little off-putting or awkward, right? And you might not even be able to see them depending on what kind of room you're performing in. It could be dark and all that stuff. But you still want to have this, even though you might be like looking up at certain parts when you're singing, you want to have those moments where you are looking out into the audience a little bit more directly. Maybe you're not necessarily looking people in the eye, but you're looking out at them so that they can connect with you and what you're singing about in that particular moment. Okay. Again, these are skills that you can build, things that you want to work on, but you definitely want to incorporate some moments of connection. This can also look like, again, a dramatic pause, right? Taking a pause and maybe looking out and bringing in your facial expressions there too, right? These all overlap and integrate with each other. You want every single one of these to be incorporated, right? But those moments of connection are, I feel like, what really, really brings a performance to life, right? Because it brings that connection to the audience, and that makes it deeper and makes it, you feel like you connect with the performer, right? So that's when why when you see people like, pop stars, when they're singing to big stadiums, but you see them like turn to, they point at this section of the audience, like up far to the far left, the highest section of the stadium. And those people feel seen because you're pointing to them, right? And then you point to this section, or, you'll see like Taylor Swift, who I love. You'll see her like going and like, or like back in the day, I don't know if people do this anymore, but like they would like, touch their hands, like grab their hands of their fans as they're walking by. I don't know, since COVID, do people still do that? I don't know. But that's what people would do when they were performing. And just that moment of like touching someone's hand who you do not know, but you feel like you know them because they're a singer that you love. And then they reach out and you just grasp their hand for a second. That's a moment of connection, right? And you don't necessarily have to do that. You might not be a pop star listening to this, but if you want to, hey, why not? Go for it. But like those moments of like connecting with your audience, find, even if it's just one way to do that, you want to find one of those moments of connection. If it's like a small room where you're auditioning, obviously you're not going to necessarily do that with, the casting team, but you can still have a moment of connection where you have a dramatic pause at the end of the song where they see what you're really feeling in that moment before you fully end the song. Or you can have like a moment where you maybe the song is a little bit comedic and you have like a little funny moment and you can like kind of laugh, and hopefully your audience, the casting team, laughs. Maybe they'll laugh with you depending on the mood that they're in, right? They might laugh too, right? And you can laugh as well. You can kind of lean into the joke to make it really funny, and that's a great way of connecting with your audience then, because they're laughing, you're laughing, we're all having a good time, right? So this is the third M, that moment of connection. That's super, super important. So these are the three M's that I believe, if you are building a performance, if you are about to perform, you have an audition coming up, which again is its own form of performance, in my opinion, because you are showing the casting what it would look like if they cast you in that role. How would you perform on stage? You kind of want to show them in a little, in that short time period. But these are the three M's you need to incorporate. Every single one of these should be incorporated in a really beautiful, bold performance, I believe. But start with one. If you feel like you don't know what to do on stage when you're singing. Start with maybe just start with movement. See how you can start to move your hands, move your body in meaningful ways. That could be the one that you want to start with. The second one is meaningful expression. Maybe you just start with, okay, how am I going to, change my face when I start to sing about this happy thing versus this sad thing, right? So meaningful expressions. And then the third thing is moments of connection. Find ways to somehow connect with the people that you're singing to. It can be anything big or small, but you want to just find ways to, like, parts of the song where you can kind of connect with people. So those are the 3 M's. Start to incorporate one of them this week as you're practicing a song. Maybe you're working on a song for an audition. Maybe you're working on a song in voice lessons. Hey, hi, I'm a voice teacher. Come work on it with me. I'd love to work with you. But whatever it is that you are working on this week, I want you to choose one of these to intentionally incorporate into your voice practice. Okay. Movement, meaningful expression, moments of connection. Which of these are you going to choose? Come to the Facebook group and let me know which one you want to work on and focus on this week. And I will keep you accountable. We'll keep you accountable in the group. That's at creativelybyestelle.com/community, creativelybyestelle.com/community. You can go there to join the Facebook group and come and share which one of these 3 M's of confident stage presence and captivating performance you are going to integrate into your practice and work on this week. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this helps you. I hope this inspires you. This is very tactical. I hope you take each of these and integrate it, but especially focus on one of these that you are going to integrate this week. Let me know what it is. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to share this with any performers that you know. You want to make sure that you share what you're learning so that we can all learn and grow together. Share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the show so that you can get the reminder whenever I release the episodes, which, twice a week, but make sure that you are subscribed so you know when they're coming out. And also, please don't forget to leave a review if you don't mind. I would love to hear from you what you're loving from the show, what you'd like to hear more of. Just leave a review wherever you are listening, but specifically Apple Podcasts. That would be amazing. Go ahead and leave a review for the show, and I would really love to hear from you guys. All right, that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.